Hey sisters, it's Sophia. Happy New Year to you. I hope you had a blessed beginning to your new year. I wanted to stop by and do a personal message to those of us who are African American women, and in particular to our young sisters. The Huffington Post piece that I wrote entitled 5 Things Black Women Must Do to Be Happier, Healthier, and Healed in 2014 has been viewed by literally tens of thousands of people. There are thousands of likes from Facebook. There are comments. It was tweeted. It was shared on email. It was a very popular article. I think it struck a nerve for all of us. And as we have ended 2013 and come into the fullness and the expectation and the possibilities of 2014, I wanted to stop by and say something that I think is very important. All of you know that I wrote the book Black Woman Redefined, Dispelling Myths and Discovering Fulfillment in the Age of Michelle Obama. And I wanted to say personally thank you to all of you who bought the book, who shared the book in your sister circles, who blessed me by having me come to your universities, your corporations, your organizations, humbling to go to the sororities, to the HBCUs, all throughout the country. Black women and women not of color have embraced me and lifted me and treated me so well, and I thank you for that. There's nothing more humbling for an author and nothing more satisfying than to have his or her work be received well. The book was noted with an award in 2011 in its hardback form, and I'm just humbled by the success of a book that was deeply embedded in my heart long before I ever wrote it. Those of you who've been around for a while and who've been following me for over a decade know that the plight of black women and our health and our wellness and our sisterhood has always been something that I treasure. And I treasure it because, like you, I am blessed to be a black woman. I am blessed to have a mother who's still with me, who's an amazing black woman, who sets many of the examples in my life. I still have my maternal grandmother alive, well into her mid-80s, and I just am surrounded by phenomenal sisters who are doing amazing things and who lift and who love and who care and who share. And I feel like we don't see enough of those images. I feel like we don't see enough of us truly being us. And so if you haven't read the book yet, I'd like you to pick up a copy. Share it with a young woman. Be a mentor. Be a sponsor. Start a book club. I promise you. Now look, the book's not for everybody. Some people didn't like it, but most did, and I get these amazing emails and letters and comments that really bless my life when people tell me that their lives have been changed for the better. But that's not really what I wanted to talk about today. I can only say so much on a video, but I wanted to come by and I wanted to really re-emphasize the points that I made in the Huffington Post piece. And if you haven't read it, you can get it online. I want you to really think about those 5 things that I shared. Look, I'm not talking to you from a position on high. I get it wrong. I've messed up in my relationships with sister friends. I've not always done the right things. And hopefully when we can admit that to ourselves and when we become woman enough to understand that, we can do better. We can turn our pain into purpose, our wounds into wisdom. We can take the test and make them into testimonies. And that's what I try to do. I love us because we have a hard way to go. The last thing any black woman needs is somebody telling her how bad she is, what she's not doing right, what she's not getting right, and all that's wrong with her. We get enough of that, frankly. And I wanted to be someone in this world, among the many like Beverly Bond, who does Black Girls Rock, and other amazing black women who have amazing organizations in the churches, in the sororities, in the foundation world, and they help bless lives, they help change lives. And maybe some of them aren't like some of us. They don't get to be on TV. They don't get to sit around and tell everybody about what it is they're doing. They're the unsung heroes among us. And I'd ask you in 2014 to do a couple things that I'm going to talk about now that I think are essential to us going forward as black women in the way that we want to. The first thing I want us to do, sisters, and I need you to hear me well on this, you've got to heal these wounds. You've got to heal the seething anger that sits inside of you because dad wasn't around, or somebody mistreated you. Maybe you were raped or abused as a young girl or as a teen or as a young woman. You haven't ever told anybody about it. You're still carrying that deep pain in your heart. We are the most beautiful, amazing, and resilient women on earth. Now, I'm not saying that other women aren't, but I'm saying that no one has a journey quite like black women. And I think we can all know that. And I would say to our white sisters and sisters of color in other communities to embrace our history, to embrace our journey, and let's talk together, let's fellowship together, let's share our story so that we can take each other to new levels of greatness and success. It's only by communicating and talking that we learn from each other. But sisters, we've got to stop, number 2, with the go-off. The go-off is destroying other black women who are not the enemy. You going off on another black woman because you're hurt, because you're wounded, because you're not being treated right, doesn't help anybody. It destroys relationships. It destroys the example that you're supposed to set. It sets a bad tone, and it spirals out of control in a way that you can't imagine. You know, when I think of some of the women that I've loved and that I've helped who've betrayed, hurt, broken, talked about, gossiped about, torn down, it's painful. Frankly, I try to forget those things because you don't want to remember them because they'll harden your heart. They'll make you cold. They'll make you hard. And I want to speak to my sisters out there now who are in leadership positions, in clergy, in corporate, in communities, in colleges, in universities, in industry. I know somebody did you wrong. I know you helped somebody and she burned you. I know you mentored somebody and she stole from you, lied on you, maybe even slept with your husband or took your man. I know it's wrong. It hurts. But you got to let that go because every black woman hasn't done that to you. And every black woman you meet isn't going to do that to you. You know, God sends us good people, I believe, after we meet the wrong people. And I think that we have to learn to recognize the angels that come into our lives. Because if we don't, we'll run them off. We'll scare them off. Or we'll spew some of our brokenness and our venom on them, and we'll destroy them. And then they'll be cold and they'll be mean. Sisters, we've got to stop the damage, the emotional violence that we're doing to each other because we're mad about the things that haven't gone right in our lives. The third thing that I want us to do, you know, we've got to stop. Ayanla said it earlier last year, that black women were out of order. I don't know if we're out of order as much as we're broken and we're hurt. And like I said, we're angry. And we will let the men in our lives do ugly things to us. Beat us, abuse us, talk in the old way, cheat on us, dishonor us. And we'll forgive them 50 times. We'll take them back. We'll keep taking it. But that woman friend, that sister who's been there when we had breast cancer, that sister who fed us, who took us into our home, who clothed our kids, we'll cut her off over something stupid, minor. We'll just do the go off and we'll tell everybody how done we are. Now I want you to think about how ridiculous that is and how foolish that is and really how ungodly that is. It's not cute. It's not smart. And I promise you, that woman that you cut off, you're going to need her again. So you better think twice before you go and do the little go-off thing that you do. This is not worth it. You need to treat people the way you want to be treated. Fourth thing I want us to focus on is our health and our wellness. Sisters, too many of us are dropping dead before age 35 of heart disease, stroke, heart attack, diabetes, hypertension. Those of us who are aging into our 40s and 50s, we need to exercise. We need to take care of ourselves. We need to eat clean, as my friend Stacy likes to say. We need to do better. We have our mothers with us still. Exercise with mom. Help her to eat right. Juice. Cleanse. Join Weight Watchers. Do whatever you have to do. But make a plan to be healthier in 2014. Sisters, you don't want to drop dead. You don't want to cut your life short and miss the blessing of your children, your grandchildren. And you really don't want to be stuck in a situation where you end up with a stroke or a heart attack and you survive, but your quality of life is diminished. It's destroyed. Is that what you want for your latter days? You don't. Start taking care of yourself. The fifth and final thing that I want us to do, and this is hard for us because we've been defined in so many negative ways. The images of us on television are still awful and ugly. We're side chicks. We're jump-offs. We're angry, we're mean, we're cussing, we're fighting, we're going off, we're worried about shoes and handbags and our hair, and we're doing violence to one another. And we're doing it because we're hurt. I need us to start looking beyond the angry words and start seeing the woman's heart. Too many of us are stuck in depression, and we don't tell anybody about it. We hide it. We think we're super women. The hair's good, the clothes are good, the car's good, the house is good. But we're busted up and broken. You're broken, and then you go break people. It's got to stop. Got to start loving ourselves. I know that's hard because we've been told we're not valuable, but you are valuable. You're worthy. You're beautiful. You're fabulous. You're fierce. You're a force to be reckoned with. But you also need love. You need to be vulnerable. You need to be kind. You need people to be kind to you. These are the things that our great-grandmothers and our grandmothers and our mothers did well. Somehow we've gotten away from that. Somehow we've gotten caught up in something that isn't us at all, and we need to stop it. Sisters, I'm speaking from firsthand experience to the woman that, I helped with food cards or with a check without being asked, to buying diapers, to helping a sister get a job, to helping a sister in my business, or to helping bless a woman at her conference for free because she couldn't afford to pay, and to helping get folks media stuff, and whatever it is and the good deeds that I've done, I did them because I cared, because somebody did good deeds for me and somebody helped me. And we have to lift as we climb. But I got to tell you, this nastiness and this meanness, it's got to stop. You can't go off on somebody because they come to your hair shop for their appointment and 5 hours later you still haven't done their hair, and you cuss them out because you needed to go talk on your phone, or you needed to have a lunch break, or you needed to go see your man. Sisters, that's poor. It's got to stop. That's not good business, and you wonder why you're not thriving. You can't go off on people because you're not doing the right thing and you don't want to own it. Apologize when you're wrong. I promise you it won't kill you. And this thing we do, what I call the thug thing, the sister thugs, that you get mad at somebody and you get 10 friends of yours to get mad at her too, that is so immature, and that's so high school, so sophomoric. Again, women in clergy in high positions acting like this, slandering, gossiping, tearing folks down. What are you doing, sisters? What are you doing? What kind of example are you setting for your daughters, for your nieces, for your granddaughters? This is not who we are. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. I'm asking you in the name of sisterhood to redefine yourself, to redefine those negative images and stop feeding into them, and start holding each other accountable in love, and start acting in love, and start being kind. That's what my piece was all about. The way to a happier, healthier, healed life, sisters, starts with how we treat ourselves and then one another. Now look, you don't like yourself. You're not going to be able to treat another black woman well because you see in her everything you were told about yourself that's ugly. I'm calling us in 2014 to something higher. I'm calling us in 2014 to a redefinition revolution. I'm asking you to read the book. I don't need you to buy the book. This isn't a book pitch. The book is done well. It's sold tens of thousands of copies. I'm over that. It's not about that. It's about us. As Mrs. Obama said in her Spelman address in 2011, and this is key, and I'm going to end here. She said, "We are all we have. We are all we have." It's time for us to start acting like it. Stop the emotional violence. We're killing each other with our words, with our anger, with our venom, with our gamesmanship, with our ungodly, unholy malice and conduct. It's time for it to stop. The young ladies are watching. They need us to do better. You want to know why they're disrespectful? They see us being disrespectful. It's time for us to step up, to stand up into the greatness from which we hail and which we come. Rosa Parks didn't talk like this. Fannie Lou Hamer didn't talk like this. Coretta Scott King didn't act like this. Barbara Jordan didn't act like this. Shirley Chisholm didn't act like this. Madam C.J. Walker didn't behave like this. It's not who we are. It's time to do better, sisters. It's time. It's time. It's time. I love you. Happy New Year. And I look forward to great things from us in 2014. Take care.